Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is on March 7th, 2024. It's on Thursday and sunny. How are you spending Thursday? How do you like Thursday? When I was a university student, I used to schedule Thursday with few classes, and it worked well in a week. The reason why I scheduled Thursday with few classes uh, stemmed from the curriculum or schedule set by the university when we were a first year students. And in the schedule, a few classes were set on Thursday, and I got used to the schedule in a week and I felt it comfortable. So, after becoming a second year student, I used to schedule Thursday with few classes. Although it was raining so heavily, we enjoyed playing soccer. Although typhoon was approaching, the festival was conducted. Although typhoon was approaching, the festival was held. Although typhoon was approaching, the festival took place. Though Japanese yen has been dropping, some rich people can afford to have a foreign trip. Some rich people can have can afford having travel. Uh, some some rich people can afford to have a foreign trip. Some rich people can afford to have a foreign trip. Some rich people can afford to have a foreign trip. Some rich people can afford having a foreign trip. Though I'm not interested in the movie, I went to the cinema with my friends. Although I am not interested in watching a movie, we went to the movies. Even though I'm not interested in watching the movie, we went to the cinema to watch it. Mm. Mm. Though it was snowing so heavily, we enjoyed creating snowmen and snowballs. Although it was snowing so heavily, we enjoyed making snowballs and throwing them to each other. Even if it was raining so heavily, some employees went to their cars to have lunch. Even if it is raining so heavily, some employees go to their cars to have lunch alone on their own. Even if it is raining so heavily, some employees working in the company go to their cars to have lunch on their own to secure their own time. Even if you give special service to someone else, don't expect return from them. Even if you give a service to someone, do not expect the return from someone. Even if you give a special service to somebody, do not expect the return from the person. Even if you are criticized, do not get even with them. Do not get revenge on them. Do not get even with them. Even if it was very early morning, my father did not complain at all. Even if it is early morning, I don't care, unless we will be late for unless we are be late for we are late for the destination. Even if you make a mistake, it's okay. It's a step to succeed. It's a step to step forward. It's a step to step forward. It's a step to move forward and approach the success one step closer. Even if you make a mistake, don't worry. It's a step closer to the success. Approaching to the success one step closer. Even if you make a mistake, do not get depressed. It's a step to be closer to the success. Even if you make a mistake, do not get depressed. It's a step to approach the success closer. Even if it rains, the occasion will be held. Even if it is rain, even if it rains on the next Sunday, the festival will take place on schedule. Even if it rains, the tour will be held, with you taking an umbrella. Hmm. Even if it rains on the next Sunday, the event will be held on schedule. Even if it rains, even if it rains, even if it rains, the festival will take place on schedule. Even if, even if, even if, even if, even if. Even if the accommodation price on Sunday becomes too hot, some people stay there. Even if the price for the product is increased by 50%, some people will buy it. Even if the accommodation fee is increased by 50% or more, some people stay there. Even if the accommodation fees are increased by 50 or 60% on weekends, some people stay there. Even if the fee for the room in the accommodation is increased by 70% on weekends, some people soon book the room. Even if the accommodation fee is increased by 100% on weekends, some people stay there. Even if the flight tickets on weekends are increased, like threefold, some people buy the tickets to have a trip on weekends. Mm. Even if I failed 7 times, I tried again. And finally, I passed the national examination on my eighth trial. Even if I failed in the examination 7 times, I didn't give up. I tried again and passed it. Even if I failed in the examination 7 times in a row, I didn't stop pursuing my dreams. Even if I failed in the examination 7 times in a row, I didn't give up. I didn't give in to the failure. I didn't yield to the failure. I didn't surrender to the failure. I tried again. And finally, in the end, at long last, I could pass the national examination on my eighth trial. Even if the schedule is changed on short notice, the employee does not complain at all. Even if the schedule is changed at the last minute, please be prepared to be able to cope with it flexibly. Very expensive as it was, and some people bought it. Very early as it was, we left home so that we could catch the last train, first train. Very early as it was, we left home so that we could avoid the traffic congestion. Very early as it was, we left our house in order we could the first train. Very early as it was, we left our house in order we could avoid traffic congestion. Super heavily as it was raining, we enjoyed playing baseball. So heavily as it was snowing, we enjoyed creating snowmen. So foggy as it was in the atmosphere, I stopped driving and had a short time rest in the service area along the expressway. So foggy as it was, I couldn't see the clear view from the observatory. So foggy as it was, I could not see the clear view from the observatory. So foggy as it was, I couldn't see the clear view from the observatory, unfortunately. So fast as he drove, I got motion sick. My friend drove his car so fast that I got motion sick soon after. Very cheap as the product was, the quality was so good. His essay left nothing to be desired. Very cheap as the product was, the quality was left the quality left nothing to be desired. Hmm. Hmm. Exhausted as I was, I did chores. Exhausted as I was, I washed dishes. Exhausted as I was, I washed the dishes. I washed the dishes. I washed the dishes. I washed the dishes. Exhausted as I was, I washed the dishes. I washed the dishes. Exhausted as I was, I washed the dishes. Exhausted as I was, I washed the dishes. I washed the dishes. I washed dishes. Very tired as I was, I did the chores of washing the dishes. Very tired as I was, I did the chores of doing laundry, washing dishes, and so on. Very lucrative as a business is, the workload is more than expected. Very lucrative as a business is, the workload is more than expected. Very dark as it was outside, the special camera could see through. Very dark as it is, the special camera can see through. Very dark as it is, the special camera can have the perfect view even in the dark. Very bright sunlight as it was, I could not see the clear view from the window. Very foggy as it was, I could not see the clear-cut view from the window. Very drowsy as I was after class, I fell asleep. I could not resist falling asleep at the desk. Very sleepy as I was, I could not resist falling asleep at the desk during the class. Very sleepy as I was, I did not sleep. I did not fall asleep during a class. I kept awake until the end of the class. Very sleepy as I was after eating lunch, I did not fall asleep during the class. I kept awake. Very well as his essay was organized. Everybody could not allow his rude attitude. Very well, as your essay is organized. Your handwriting is terrible. Very near as the amusement park was located. I didn't go there while I was living there. It it is related to our psychological things, I think. If we think that we can go there anytime, maybe we want to go there. But we think that we cannot go there frequently because where we live, maybe we go there more frequently to take advantage of the opportunity, to make the most of the opportunity. Very nearby, as I used to live from the amusement park. I didn't go there while I lived there. Nearby as the amusement park was located from where I used to live. I didn't go there while I lived there. I went there more frequently after moving another place far away from the amusement park somehow. Nearby as the amusement park was located from my apartment, I didn't go there while I lived there. So quickly as the employee brought the tasks to an end, there were many errors. So quickly as the employee brought the tasks to an end, there were many mistakes. So early as we arrived at the destination, there were no shops opening yet. Very early as we arrived at the destination, no shops had opened yet. Very early as we arrived at the destination, no shops opened yet. Very early as we arrived at the hotel, the check-in time was not yet. Very early as we arrived at the destination, we had 2 or 3 hours left to the check-in time. Very early as we arrived at the destination, we had 2 or 3 hours till the check-in time. We had to kill the time until then. Very early as we arrived at the destination, go to the destination, reach the destination. We still had 2 or 3 hours till the check-in time at the hotel, ending up killing the time around. very eloquent as the advocate gave a speech on the podium. Somehow, I couldn't place my trust in him. Very eloquent as the advocate gave a speech. Very eloquent as the advocate's speech was. Somehow I could not place my trust in him. Very eloquent as the advocate's speech was. Somehow I could not place my trust in him. Very eloquent as the advocate's speech was. Somehow I couldn't place my trust in him. Very eloquently as advocate made a speech at the podium, I somehow cannot place my trust in him. Very eloquently as advocate gave a speech at the podium, somehow I couldn't place my trust in him. Very eloquently as the advocate delivered a speech, somehow I was not convinced. I was not persuaded. Very eloquently as advocate made a speech at the podium, somehow I was not convinced. I was not persuaded. Very eloquently as the advocate explained the situation. Only a quarter of the audience seems to have understood it. Very eloquently, the lecturer delivered a speech at the podium. Only 1 in 10 seems to have understood it. Very eloquently, as the advocate explained the situation, only a tenth of the audiences appear to have understood it. So hard as I studied, I could not pass examination. So carefully as I prepared, I still made many mistakes. So hard as I usually prepare for anything, I make many mistakes. So carefully as I prepare for anything usually, I tend to make a mistake. So carefully as I prepare for anything beforehand in advance, I am apt to make a mistake somehow. So carefully as I prepare for anything in advance, I am inclined to make a mistake. So hard and carefully as I prepare for anything in advance, I am apt to make a mistake. So carefully as I prepare for anything many days in advance, I tend to make a mistake. So carefully as I prepare for anything many days in advance, I am apt to make a mistake somehow. So carefully as I prepare for anything many days in advance, I tend to make a mistake. So carefully as I prepare for anything many days in advance, I am apt to make a mistake. 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 So early as we left our house, we still got into the traffic jam. Oh my god. So early as we left our house, we got into the traffic jam. So early as we left our house, we still went into the traffic jam somehow. So early as we left our house, we still got into the traffic jam, traffic congestion. On the day as I tried to get the ticket for the concert, it was already sold out. On the day as I tried to buy the concert ticket, it was already sold out. Very lucrative as the business sounds, I doubt. Very lucrative as the business sounds, I doubt, suspect, skeptical. It sounds very skeptical. Very lucrative as the business sounds, I doubt. There must be something wrong behind. There must be something trick behind. You had better take the medicine as you were advised and ordered from your doctor. You are better off taking the medicine as you were told by your doctor. As the locals put it, we should avoid taking the route. It's too dangerous, isn't it? As the experts put it, we should stay at home. As the weather forecast puts it, we had better stay at home until the typhoon passes away. You are better off taking the medicine as you were told by your doctor. We had better prepare for the emergency as experts advised. We should be prepared for emergency beforehand as experts advised. Although I studied for at least 3 hours on a daily basis as I was told from my teacher, I still failed in the examination. What happened to me? Even though I studied for at least 3 hours on a daily basis, as I was told by my teacher, I still failed in the examination somehow. Maybe the efficiency was bad. The CEO of the company kept silent as he was advised from his attorney. The chief executive officer of the company remained silent as he was advised from his attorney. The chief executive officer remained silent during the press conference as he was advised from attorney so that the things would not move against him. The director of the company remained silent during the press conference as he was advised from attorney, lawyer. The chairman of the company stayed silent as he was advised from his lawyer. My music teacher told me to play the piece as she explained. My music teacher told me to play the piece like the current of the river as she played. My music teacher told me to play the piece legato with legato as she played. The music teacher told me to play the piece with legato as she played. The music teacher told me to play the piece with legato as she demonstrated next to me. The music teacher told me to play the piece with legato, like she demonstrated. Night shift workers were entering the factory as they were haunted by ghosts. Night shift workers were entering the factory as they were being absorbed into the light. Night shift employees were entering the factory as they were being absorbed into the light. You had better take the medicine as you were told by your doctor. Operate the machine as you were educated by your boss. Drive your car carefully as you were told by your teachers. Drive your car as it was directed by the law. Drive your car as it is directed by the law. Behave as it is stipulated in the prejudice, in the ordinance. Follow the ordinance as it is stipulated in the ordinance. Play the piece with regard as the current of the river, moderate current of the river. Play the piece with regard as the moderate river flows in the river. Play the piece with regard as moderate water flows in the river. Play the piece smoothly as water flows moderately in the river. Play the piece as I demonstrated. Play the piece as I demonstrated. Play the piece as I demonstrated. Create the music as I explained. Play the music as I explained. Play the piece as I demonstrated. Follow the rules as you were educated. Follow the rules as you were educated. Don't make a mistake as you were educated. Don't make a mistake as you were told. Don't make a careless mistake as you were told. Don't make a careless mistake as you were advised from your teacher. We should be prepared for unexpected disasters or emergency as experts advised. We ought to be prepared for unexpected disasters as experts explained, advised. We ought to be prepared for unexpected tragedy, just in case, as the specialists advised. We should be prepared for unexpected emergency, as the specialists advised. We should be prepared for unexpected emergency, tragedy, disaster, as the experts advised. We ought to be prepared for unexpected emergency, as experts advise. We ought to be prepared for unexpected tragedy, as the experts advise. We ought to be prepared for unexpected disasters, as specialists advise. As specialists advise. As specialists advise. The music teacher told me to play the piece with regard, like she demonstrated. The music teacher told me to play the piece with regard, as she demonstrated, like she demonstrated. My friend advised me to throw the ping pong ball as I throw a stone or a baseball. My friend advised me to throw the ping pong ball like I throw a stone or baseball. And then I would make it better. Play the piece with regard, as water flows moderately in the river. Play the piece with regard, as the water flows moderately in the river. Moderately in the river. Play the piece with regard, as the water flows in the river moderately. As the experts advised, we ought to be prepared for unexpected emergency. As a specialist put it, we ought to be prepared for unexpected tragedy. Maybe we can stock preserved food or buy a flashlight just in case. My flashlight is getting dim. I need to replace the battery with new one. We had better stay one night at the hotel, as the locals put it. We are better off staying at the hotel one night more, as the locals put it. Like the locals put it. We had a better stay in the hotel one night longer, like the locals advised. just in case, for our safety. We left our house much earlier as we were advised from the locals. We left our hotel 1 hour earlier, like the locals advised. I completed the task as I was ordered by my boss. I completed the task as I was ordered by my boss while he was away. I completed the task as I was ordered by my boss. I completed the task. I completed the task like I was ordered by my boss while he was away. I completed the task while he was away. While my boss was away on his business trip. Hmm. Night shift workers were entering the light being emitted from the factory, like things were absorbed into black hole. Water was being absorbed into the drain hole in the bathtub, like everything is being absorbed into the black hole. Everybody was walking toward the same direction as they were haunted by ghosts. Everybody was walking toward the same direction in the morning at the station, like they were programmed by somebody. We had better avoid taking the route as the locals put it. We had better do as we were told. You had better take the medicine as you were told by your doctor. You had better take the medicine every after meal as you were told. You are better off taking the medicine as you were told. You are better off taking the medicine like you were told. You are better off taking the medicine like you were told. You had better take the medicine like you were told. You are better off taking the medicine like you were told. Hmm. You had better take a break regularly, as you are as you were advised by your doctor. Drivers should take a break regularly, as it is stipulated in the law. Drivers should have a break regularly, as it is stipulated in the law. Drivers should have a break, as it is stipulated in the law. Drivers should have a break regularly for the limit for the stipulated time, like it is stipulated in the law. Drivers should have a break regularly, like it is stipulated in the law. Drivers should have a break for enough time, like it is stipulated in the law. Drivers should take a break regularly, as it is stipulated in the law. Drivers should have a break for longer than 30 minutes every 4 hours, as it is stipulated in the law. Drivers should have a break for longer than 30 minutes every 4 hours, like it is stipulated in the law. Drivers should have a break for longer than 30 minutes every 4 hours, within 4 hours, as it is stipulated in the law. Like it is stipulated in the law. Drivers should have a break regularly for longer than 30 minutes within 4 hours, like it is stipulated in the law. He is as if he hadn't eaten anything in the morning. He is eating as if he hadn't eaten anything in the morning. He is eating dinner as if he hadn't eaten anything for 3 days or more. My pet dog is eating food as if he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly all the time as if he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog always eats food so quickly and with a lot of concentration, as if he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog always eats food so violently, like he hadn't eaten anything for 2 days. My pet dog always eats food so quickly, as though he hadn't eaten anything for 3 days. My pet dog always eats food so quickly, as though he hadn't eaten anything all day long. You look as if you seen a ghost. You saw a ghost. You look as if you had seen a ghost. The sky looks as if it was end of the world. The color of the sky appears as if it was the end of the world. The color of the sky and atmosphere and the scenery appear as if it were the end of the world. The scenery of the spot appears as if it were the end of the world. I felt as if I had been in another dimension. I felt as if I had been in another dimension. When I was at the summit of the Mount Fuji, I felt as if I had been in another dimension. When I was at the summit of Mount Fuji, I felt as if I had been in another dimension. Another dimension. The sky looks as if it's going to rain soon. The sky looks as if it's going to rain soon. The sky looks as if it is going to rain soon. The sky appears as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky appears as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. It seems to be raining in the region now. I hope by the time we arrive at the station, at the airport, the rain will have been already stopped. The sky appears as if it's going to rain soon. The sky looks as if it's going to rain soon. The sky appears to be raining soon. The place over there appears to be raining. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to snow. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks like it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks like it's going to rain. The sky looks like it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks like 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 it's going to rain. He speaks like he knew everything. He speaks as if he knew everything. She speaks as if he knew everything. She speaks as if she 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 knew everything. She speaks like she knew everything. She speaks as if she knew everything. The accused behaved as if he hadn't been involved in the incident. The defendant behaved like he had nothing to do. He had been nothing to do with the incident. The accused behaved as if he had been not involved in the incident. The criminal behaved as if he had been nothing to do with the incident. The accused behaved like he hadn't been involved in the activity. Mm. He looks as if he is not interested in the topic. He appears as if he is not interested in the movie. He appears as if he is not interested in the topic. He appears as if he is not interested in the topic. He appears as if he is not interested in the topic. His tone of voice sounds as if he is not agreeing to the policy suggestion. His tone of voice sounds as if he didn't agree to the suggestion. His tone of voice sounds as if he did not agree to the suggestion. Your tone of voice sounds as if you don't agree to my suggestion. Your tone of voice sounds as if you don't agree to my suggestions. Your tone of voice sounds as if you don't agree to my suggestions. Your tone of voice sounds as if you don't agree to my suggestions. The statement issued by the company might be accepted as if the company were not feeling sorry for what they had done. The statement issued by the company sounds as if they hadn't been sorry for what they had done. The statement issued by the company might be accepted as if they were not feeling sorry for what they had done. The statement issued by the company might be accepted as if they were not feeling sorry for what they had done. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks like it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks like 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 it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. You look as if you had seen a ghost. You look as if you had seen a ghost. You look like you had seen a ghost. You appear like you had seen a ghost. You look as if you had seen a ghost. You look as if you had seen a ghost. You look as if you had won the lottery. Your recent outfit look as if you had won the lottery. Your recent outfits look like you had won the lottery of 700 million yen. Please tell me the truth. Could you share me with some money? The CEO behaved as if he hadn't known anything about its accident. The direct boss of the department behaved as if he had not known about accident at all. The section-in-chief of the department behaved like he hadn't known the accident at all at first. The sky looks as if it was the end of the world. The color of the sky appears like it were the end of the world. The road looks as if heavy rained. It rained so heavily last night. The wet on the road looks as if it rained so heavily last night. The wet on the road looks as if it had rained so heavily last night. The wet on the road appears as if it had rained so heavily last night. The wet on the road appears as if it had rained so heavily last night. The wet on the road looks as if it had rained so heavily last night. The wet on the road looks as if it had rained so heavily last night. Yeah, I think so too. Some people show off their belongings as if they were rich. Some people show off their expensive belongings as if they were rich, although not. They are not. Some people show off their belongings as if they were rich. Some people show off their belongings like they were rich. Some people show off their belongings like they were rich. Some people show off their belongings like they were rich. Some people show off their belongings like they were rich. Some people show off their belongings like they were rich. Some people tend to show off their belongings like they were rich. Some people show off their belongings as if they were rich. Please leave it as it is. Please leave it as it is. Oh, sorry for the tear on the sleeve. But if you buy it as it is, we can give you 20% off the price. Let me think. Do you think you can keep it until tomorrow? I'd like to discuss it with my friends. No, we cannot guarantee if it is still there till tomorrow. Another customer might buy it to take advantage of the 20% off. I like you as you are. I like you as you are. I like you as you are. I want you to be back to the normal. I like you as you are. Some people prefer fried chicken as it is without adding any dressing or sauce. Do you prefer fried chicken with no sauce or with some sauce? I like the fried chicken as it is without adding any sauce or dressing. Maybe a little bit salt maybe added for a change, taste change. I like you as you are. I like fried chicken as it is the best. I like the fried chicken as it is the best. I like fried chicken as it is the best. My cousin eat vegetables as it is without adding any dressing. My cousin eat vegetables as they are without adding dressing sauce at all. My cousin eat vegetables as they are without adding any dressing sauce. My cousin eat vegetables as they are. 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 My cousin eat vegetables as they are without any dressing sauce. My relative eat vegetables as they are without adding any sauce. One of my relatives eat vegetables as they are, without adding any dressing sauce. One of my relatives eat vegetables as they are. Excuse me, there is tear on the sleeve of this sweater. Oh, sorry for the tear, but if you buy it as it is, we can give you 30% off for that. Let me see. Do you think this product remains here until tomorrow? Because I do not discuss it with my mother. Sorry, we cannot guarantee it is still there till tomorrow. Another customer might take advantage of this discount and buy it. Hmm. Please leave it as it is. Please leave it as it is. Tell 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 it as it is. Telling is easy, but putting it in practice is very difficult. Making a claim is easy, but putting it in practice is difficult. Saying is easy, but putting it into practice is difficult. Tell it as it is. 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 I like you as you are. I like you as you are. I prefer eat fried chicken as it is. I prefer to eat fried chicken with as it is, without adding any sauce. Do you prefer to eat fried chicken as it is, without adding any sauce? I prefer to eat fried chicken as it is, rather than to add sauce or salt. Tell it as it is. Tell it as it is. Leave it as it is. Leave it as it is. The day shift worker left the pile of tasks as they are on the desk without coping with them at all, which gave rise to anger from the boss, by the boss, of the boss. The employee left the pile of tasks as they are all day long, which gave rise to anger of the boss. Let's leave the dishes as they are. We can wash them tomorrow morning. You can leave the chores as they are until tomorrow morning. It's already 10 o'clock p.m. We should have a rest till tomorrow. Please leave the tasks as they are. I will cope with it tomorrow. Please leave the chores as they are. Please leave the laundry 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 as they are. I will dispose of them tomorrow. Please leave the laundry as they are. I will cope with them tomorrow. Please leave the tasks as they are. I will deal with them. Leave them to me. Please leave the documents as they are. Please leave the documents as they are on the desk. Please do not touch them. Please leave the documents as they are and do not touch them. Please leave the layout as they are. Please do not make a change at all. Please leave the layout as it is. Please leave the layout as it is. Do not make any change to that. Please keep the layout as it is. Please keep the layout as it is. Please keep the layout as it is. And do not make any change to that. Thank you. I like fried chicken as it is. I like to eat fried chicken as it is. I like eating fried chicken as it is. I like you as you are. I like you as you are. He speaks as though he knew everything. 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 He speaks as if he knew everything. He speaks as though he knew everything. He speaks as though he knew everything. He speaks as though he knew everything. My international friends moved around the tourist spot where they visited for the first time, as though they had visited there many times. My international friends with whom I went to the country for the first time moved around so smoothly, as though they had visited there many times. My international friends with whom I went to the country for the first time moved so smoothly, as though they had visited there many times. Oh my god. The person sitting next to me drank the curry as if he had been drinking water. A person sitting next to me at the restaurant was drinking curry soup as if he had been drinking water. The powerful man was lifting 100 kilograms of bench press, as if he had been lifting a small stone. The criminal behaved as though he had not been involved in the incident. The criminal behaved as though he had been nothing to do with the incident. The accused pretended as if he had not been involved in the incident. The accused pretended as though he had not been involved in the incident. He speaks as though he knew everything. My pet dog all the time eats food, as though he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog all the time eats food so quickly, as though he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly, as though he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly, as though he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly, as though he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly, as though he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food as though He hadn't eaten anything all day long. She was surprised at the news, as though she had she had heard the news for the first time. She was taken by surprise by the news, as though she had heard the news for the first time, although she heard the news more than 3 times. The person reacted as though he had not known the incident. The person reacted as if he had not known the incident. The incident. The person reacted as though he had not known the incident. The person reacted as though he had not known the incident. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky appears as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. Your tone of voice sounds as if you are not interested in the topic. Your tone of voice sounds as though you are not interested in the topic. Your tone of voice sounds as if you are not interested in the topic. Your tone of voice sounds as though you are not interested in the topic. Your tone of voice sounds as though you don't have the interest in the topic. Your tone of voice sounds as though you don't have the interest in the topic. Your silence is as though you were against the policy. Your silence is as though you are against the policy. Your silence is as if you didn't agree to the policy. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky appears as if it's going to rain. The sky appears as though it's going to rain. The sky appears as though it's going to rain soon. The sky looks as though it's going to rain in no time. The sky looks as though it's going to rain soon. Sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. Later, later, whatever else, what else, what else. The sky looks, the sky appears as though it's going to rain in no time. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. His massive body on the social networking service looks as if he is going to fight with somebody in no time at the next match, at the next event. His muscle body, the picture of his muscle body might indicate as if he soon might have boxing match with somebody at the next event. The picture of his muscle body indicates as though he would have match with somebody at the next event. Your tone of voice sounds as though you are not interested in the topic. Your tone of voice sounds as though you are not interested in the topic. You appear as though you are not satisfied with the service. You appear as if you are not satisfied with the service. You appear as though you are not interested in the topic. You appear as though you are not satisfied with the service. You look as if you have a motion sick. You look as if you were depressed. You look as though you were depressed. You look as if you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You appear as if you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. As though. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. Your recent outfits look as though you had won the lottery. Please tell me the truth. Your recent outfits look like you had won the lottery. Your recent fancy outfits look like you had won the lottery. Your recent fancy outfits look like you had won the lottery of 700 million yen. Please tell me the truth. Your recent fancy outfits appear as though you had won the lottery. Your recent fancy outfits look like you had won the lottery. Your recent fancy outfits appear as though you had won the lottery. Your recent fancy outfits look as though you had won the lottery. As though you had won the lottery. As though you had won the lottery. Your recent fancy outfits, cuisine, and other shoppings look as though you had won the lottery. The accused behaved as though he had not been involved in the incident. The accused behaved as though he had he had been nothing to do with the event. Thus, the kid pretended as though he had not been involved in the activity wrongdoing. At first, the kid pretended as though he had been nothing to do with the wrongdoing. At first, the kid pretended as if he had been nothing to do with the wrongdoing. At first, the kid pretended as though he had been nothing to do with the wrongdoing. At first, the kid behaved as though he had been nothing to do with the incident, wrongdoing. At first, the kid pretended as though he had been nothing to do with the wrongdoings. At first, the kid pretended as though he had been nothing to do with the wrongdoings. At first, the kid pretended as though he had been nothing to do with the wrongdoing. At first, the kid pretended as though he had been nothing to do with the wrongdoing. The sky appears as if it's going to rain. The sky appears as though it's going to rain. The sky appears as though it's going to rain. As though. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as if it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky appears as if it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. The sky looks as if it's going to rain. The sky looks as though it's going to rain. As though. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. He speaks as if he knew everything. He speaks as if he knew everything. He speaks as if he knew everything. He speaks as though he knew everything. He speaks as though he knew everything. And some people behave as if they were superstars. Some people behave as though they were superstars. Some people behave as though they were superstars. The sky looks as if it were the end of the world. The sky appears as though it were the end of the world. My pet dog eats food so quickly, as though he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly, as though he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly, as if he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly, like he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly, like he hadn't eaten anything for a long time, all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly all the time, like he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly, as if he hadn't eaten anything all day long. My pet dog eats food so quickly, as though he hadn't eaten anything all day long. He speaks as if he knew everything. He speaks as though he knew everything. He speaks like he knew everything. He speaks like he knew everything. He speaks like he knew everything. He speaks as if he knew everything. He speaks as though he knew everything. He speaks as though he knew everything. She speaks as if she knew everything. She speaks as though she knew everything. She speaks as though she knew everything. She speaks like she knew everything. She speaks as though she knew everything. She speaks as though she knew everything. You look as if you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look like you had seen a ghost. You look as if you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look like you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You appear as though you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You look as if you had seen a ghost. You look as though you had seen a ghost. You appear as though you had seen a ghost. You appear as though you had seen a ghost. You appear as though you had seen a ghost. You appear as though you had seen a ghost. You appear as if you had seen a ghost. You appear like you had seen a ghost. She speaks as if she knew everything. She speaks as though she knew everything. She speaks like she knew everything. She speaks as if she knew everything. She speaks as though. She speaks as though she knew everything. She speaks like she knew everything. The sky appears as if it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks like it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky appears as if it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky appears as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky appears like it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky appears as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky appears as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. The sky looks as though it's going to rain sooner or later. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you!